Hello everyone, this is Shubham and welcome to your Cypress tutorial. In the last lecture, if you remember, what we have discussed is Cucumber integration to our Cypress project. So if you guys are not remembering it, I'll go through the steps again. These are the steps which we had followed. The first step is gonna, obviously you need to install that Cypress Cucumber preprocessor. Then you need to go to your index file, you need to create and paste this particular code over there to require, see, whenever you have installed it, right? So then you need to call that particular dependency. Then you will ask your Cypress project to look for these kind of file, because Cypress feature files are gonna be .feature extension, and we have been following .js extension for our spec file. Then the next step is again step definition, which we have not discussed. We're gonna discuss once we are done with our feature file. So still, I'll tell you the step definition. In step definition, we call our methods to execute that particular feature file, right? So that is also needs to be true, because it needs to identify that feature file as well. Now let's go, and if you remember, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna create our folder. See, example, it's the integration folder we've been writing all our code, right? So in the integration folder itself, we're gonna go to example and we're gonna create our one folder called Cucumber. Right, Cucumber has been created. Now what we're gonna do, so if you work with Eclipse or Selenium or Java, so you press Control space, it will give you all kind of syntactical highlight that is gonna be written in this such way. So to do that, we're gonna install one more thing for our help, which is Cucumber syntax and snippet highlight for our VS Code. What you're gonna do, you're gonna open your Chrome, you're gonna write Cucumber installation VS Code. I'm gonna go over here. I have already installed that, but I'll show you the process. When you're gonna click on this, it will ask you to open your Visual Studio Code, and there would you find the option called install. I have already installed it, so that is saying uninstall or disable. You need to just click on install, it will be done for you. When it's done, close your Visual Studio Code and reopen it again. Right, now I'm gonna go and create one file. So what test case you wanna do with it? What basic test case? I'll go with basic assertion as our first feature file test case. What you're gonna do, create a file with extension of .feature. So I'm gonna give it a name called assertion.feature. It's done, we have opened it. Now when you're gonna write it, so how do you write feature file, like basic feature file syntax? So let's go to Cucumber syntax example, right? Let's go to Gherkin reference, and you'll find all the examples over here. And let's see, it has shown you, right? Feature, and the one feature you can write multiple scenarios. Multiple scenarios can be 10, it can be 20 based on the project requirement. And then feature is going to identify the what feature you've been trying to implement in your project. Suppose the feature you've been trying to implement is creation of account. The creation of account is going to come up with multiple scenarios. The first scenario can be login ID and password will lead you to the normal homepage or not, or the valid homepage or not. Terms and conditions are right or not. End-to-end coverage is getting completed or not. Then you might create some sanity packs. So under one feature, you can implement multiple scenarios. So the syntax has been given over here, which is like you can go directly to the home page and you can see the syntax, feature and scenario, and given when and then format. You're gonna go to Visual Studio, you're gonna write feature. So it has given you the syntax. You just click on enter, it's saying what title you wanna give it. I would give it a title called assertion, right, on in Cypress, because that is what we have been trying to implement as our basic Cypress assertion. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna write given, and just press space, given, right? Given context, asking you the context. Context you're gonna write as so user launches the application, right? That is the first thing. User launches the application, and you'll see the syntax, right? There won't be any column required. Then what we've been trying to do in our test3.js, it says user click on women, right? So then, or you can use end, right? User clicks or user selects women Then next, what is it's trying to do? It is trying to search something, right? The product types, and then click and then submit. And user search for the product. You can write that. And then what is the next step is doing? It is submitting and validating whether the product count is correct or not. So in using then, we're gonna assert then user submit the results and validate the product count. So this is gonna be your very first feature file or feature scenario or first scenario, right? Over here you can write your scenario as well. So we're gonna write scenario, which is gonna be like this, given when, and then context. It has already given you, see, it has been telling you, given the context, when is the event, when user reaches to the home page, then output should be user see that particular women folder or something like that. So it has been telling you each and every stuff that needed to be, and that is what so given this is the context, user launches the application, and then when you can use. So we're already done, given when and then. In titles, again, I'm gonna write the same thing. Now, what you're gonna do, you need to create one spec file, which, or not a spec file, I'm gonna say .js file with .js extension. And what is it gonna do? That I'm gonna discuss in the next lecture, because see, that's gonna get implemented. We're gonna discuss it in the next lecture. So what we gonna implement with that, everything we will see in the next lecture, because we're gonna talk about my step definition, where we're gonna call the particular method which is gonna introduce this particular or invoke this particular feature file, and connect our Cypress with Cucumber to execute the basic scenario. So till the time, create this feature file or create multiple feature files, or whatever things you have implemented, try to create with that. If you're gonna go with my example, you can go with my example. If you've been trying to create your own project, you can go with your own project. Till the time, thank you so much.